How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here, and we're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are talking Super Battle Road. We are approximately 4 hours away from the release of the next stage of Super Battle Road, the Super Saiyan 2 stage. So in today's video, we are going to talk about some teams that I think you can use to clear this stage, and possibly no item it, looking at the list of available characters. So if that's something you're interested in, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump on in. So let's go ahead and head over to the Dokkan Wiki here and take a look at the stage itself. So this is the Super Battle Road page on the Dokkan Wiki, and we scroll all the way down to page level 59, Super Saiyan 2. This is interesting stage because the first fight actually has a lot of enemies you're going to have to juggle. Almost to where I would recommend you want to make sure you bring an AoE unit, and we'll talk about which ones I think will help you the most here in a sec. You are provided a friend tech Majin Vegeta because he is currently the only leader to the category, but we'll talk about some ways you can play around that if you don't want to use him or you want to use some others. But the first stage is against Cell and the Cell Juniors. Second stage is against Dabura and the other Babidi minions. What is his name? Pui and Yakon. And then the third fight is against God Goku, who is STR. So not bad. I mean, by the third fight, you should be able to juggle an enemy pretty well, and if you can stun lock them, you're golden. So let's kind of talk about characters that will help you get the job done. We're going to flip over here to the wiki to look at the leaders. There is currently only one leader in the game, as I said, for the Super Saiyan 2 category, and that is the Tech Majin Vegeta here. Now, there are some ways you can get around this. You could run the AGL Gohan for a Kamehameha lead. You could focus mainly on Vegetas and run this Worthy Rivals as a leader. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but it's possible. You could also run a more Universe 6 oriented team and use the Kale and Caulifla here, or the TR Kafla, although she is definitely fallen off and not very good in Super Battle Road. However, there is one character who, if you manage to pull him back on Saiyan Day, is a godsend for this event and will make the entire event somewhat bearable, and I'm feeling like no itemable. And that is this Int Majin Vegeta over here. So to start, we're going to talk about building a team around him, assuming you pulled him. So we'll flip over to the Dokkan Battle Optimizer, and I've kind of set up the baseline for a team you would need to run successfully that will give you everything you need to plow through the event. So if you have the Int Majin Vegeta, I would recommend running him as the leader. He is a leader for Majin Buu Saga and Vegeta's family with a 30% to Gifted Warriors. So Gifted Warriors is pretty much all Vegetas, right? So any Vegeta you throw on this team is going to be receiving a buff of 200% to their abilities. So the base for the team, and then you can kind of fill in the rest, is the Majin Vegeta, and then his best linking partner, the Tech Majin Vegeta. Running these two together, they activate all of each other's links, especially past turn 3 once you get him to transform. They activate all 7 links at that point, and it makes them unstoppable. I've done several videos. These guys are an unstoppable wall. He will make the perfect slot 1 unit as long as you have one other character, which I'll talk about here in a second. And then he, after a super or 2, depending on whether or not you have him built for additionals, is pretty defensive, and even more defensive if you manage to pick up his orbs. So definitely a powerful rotation, and I would highly recommend bringing them on the team with you. Most people should have this guy, so you could definitely build around that. Then you'll want to bring this STR Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. If you've got him, he, one, is Super Saiyan 2 and will buff allies here, and then any other allies that are on the crossover category you could bring along with you. They provide excellent buffs. Although there aren't too many Super Saiyan 2s besides himself on the crossover category. But bringing along this Trunks activates this Vegeta's not active skill, but his passive, giving him a what is it, 30% damage reduction. So definitely a must bring, and he'll work decently as a third slot floater, so you won't have to worry about too much for him. Then the powerhouse himself. If you went in on the dual Dokkan Fest for the Kid Buu and the Goku, and you managed to pull the Goku, I highly recommend bringing him. He is going to demolish this event, like hands down. Like, you won't have any problems. You just stall out to turn 3, transform him below 77% HP, and watch him go to town and clear out all 3 stages. I mean, he's powerful, and I don't think this stage was built around him. So that's the base for the team. Now, one thing we are missing is the Goku here. The Goku does not have a good slot 1 partner on this team. His best slot 1 partner on the Super Saiyan 2 team is actually this guy right here, the AGL Goku. However, he is not on... where is it? He is not on Majin Vegeta's team. So if you wanted to run those two together, you would have to swap these two and put this Majin Vegeta as your leader. But I don't recommend doing that because you want the extra boost in power from him. So to fill out the rest of the team, my recommendation is to bring along... where is he? This Majin Vegeta. One, because he is an excellent AoE unit if you can get his 18 key, and he has chances to stun, so he'll have that utility for you. And after a turn or two, right, if he's had the chance to build up, he can actually tank some attacks for the Super Saiyan 2 Goku. If not him, you could also bring this Gohan here. This Gohan, this great Saiyaman, actually does have a bit of damage reduction and lowers the attack and defense of superclass enemies, so he can be extremely helpful in this team. So I would definitely recommend bringing him, and then one of the 2 Majin Vegetas, either the LR if you've got him, or this guy here, and mainly for their ability to stun the enemy. You always super battle road, stunning is important, and that'll be extremely helpful. This Goku can stun, so the more characters you have to stun, the more chances you have to stun lock the enemy, such as in this phase where you're going to have to juggle a lot of characters. Being able to stun any amount of those enemies is going to be extremely helpful to you. And then in the third phase, right, you get 1 stun on him, and you can keep that stun up every turn. You won't be touched in the final phase. So that is one option, running the Int Majin Vegeta if you've got him. If not, you are going to have to run this guy as your leader because he is the only other leader, and then you would just fill in the rest. I wouldn't recommend bringing him, although it's possible you could see him transform in the first fight, depending on how long you take, but I definitely wouldn't recommend bringing him. I wouldn't even recommend running him as a Kamehameha leader, just because there aren't enough characters to fill out a decent roster. What there is, if you don't mind using items, so, sorry, let me just put this back. So, best recommended team to clear it, if you've got the units, is Int Majin Vegeta's team, and something like this with the Gohan from the World Tournament, and then either the Tech or the AGL Majin Vegeta. I think they will work extremely well together and will help you clear the event. But you could run a Universe 6 variant. We'll go ahead and pull that up here. Running either the Kefla or the Kale and Caulifla as the leader. I would recommend running the Kefla just because then you can actually put Kaba on there. You can't run Kaba because he's not on the category with them. So basically, you would run the 3 free-to-play Easy A's of the Universe 6 because they're actually better than the summonable ones. So I would definitely recommend running them. Where is there she is, the STR one. So I would basically recommend running it like this. With the STR Kefla, you will have to protect her, but she'll provide a Universe 6 lead for all of these guys. Because I don't believe... Well, actually, no. You could. You don't have to run her. You could run this, and then you could run the AGL Caulifla. I would recommend doing that. And then you have a Universe 6 variant of the Super Saiyan team. I forgot, he's on Rapid Growth, the Super Saiyan 2 one is. I'm so used to the Int one, who doesn't share any categories with them besides Universal Survival Saga. So you could run this Universe 6 variant of it if you've got the Tech Kale and Caulifla. If not, then run the SDR Kefla. As long as you don't mind using items, this should actually work pretty well, because the Cauliflas and the Int Kale have chances to dodge, and they get extra buffs from other Universe 6 characters on, and Kale and Cauliflas on rotation. So definitely recommend. I might actually try this just because I love the Universe 6 team, so I might actually try this as my run that I post on the video. So be on the lookout for that. So guys, that's my video on team recommendations for clearing the Super Battle Road Super Saiyan 2 stage. I hope you liked the video. I hope the video helped you kind of get an eye on how to build the team. If it did, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if nothing else, guys, thanks for watching, and aloha.